Toxic coworkers are one of the most common workplace hazards almost every employee has faced. And if you work in fast food or in a bar like I did, you've definitely had the worst side of them. I worked in a bar with my best friend as a waiter, and for majority of the time that we had our jobs, there was always something we had to deal with. From strange behaviors of other waiters to the supervisor simping for the waitresses to the boss talking smack to our faces. Even some of the customers came with some level of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, if I knew I was going to go through everything I went through, I would have started my YouTube career way back when I was 5. So this story took place when I was still in college. It was my internship year and it was supposed to last for about 6 months, but I still hadn't gotten a company to accept me within 3 months, and I was broke, so I was getting desperate to kill two birds with one stone. My best friend Daniel was also going through some financial crisis, so we were in the same boat. And just like you, we did what every young adult would have done in our situation. We went online to find ways to make money. We tried everything, and when I say we tried everything, I mean we tried everything for real. We tried copywriting, e-commerce, affiliate marketing, forex, and even lost the little money we stacked up over the years. Eventually, reality hit, and we decided to do the unthinkable. We went to get jobs. My cousin linked us up with someone that knew the manager of a bar not too far from the neighborhoods we lived in. So we reached out and were asked to come with our resumes on the Saturday of that week. When we got there, we met with the manager and our interview started right away. Now, it didn't take long for us to experience our first red flag, because after the manager was done asking us questions, for some reason unknown to man, he told us that we didn't look like we could handle the job. Just so you know, we weren't kids at this point. I already had my beards growing out, and Daniel already had the physique of a young dad. After that whole scene was over, we went home and came back the next day at noon for our first day on the job. As soon as we got there, we started serving tables. And it was tough at first, given that we had to check the menu for the prices, sometimes even more than the customers. It took a few hours, but Daniel finally got his first tip. And honestly, it felt good to be acknowledged for doing a good job, especially because that was our first day. We even asked the other waiters how we could get more tips. And what they told us to do was essentially begging, but indirectly. Now, we were broke, but we were not that broke. We'd already spent some days at this bar getting our jobs done and settling into the workforce of the country, when, like every relationship, honeymoon phase ran out. It was just week 2 and the mask started coming off. The nice co-workers no longer felt the need to be nice, the lazy ones started being themselves, and the superiors were not left out either. They just went back to default settings of being assholes. We usually close the bar when the last customer leaves, which is midnight. Then we wash the glasses and take inventory of all the drinks left in the pantry. After that, we store the chairs, stack the tables on top of each other. With the cooperation of all the waiters and waitresses, all these tasks should take about an hour 30 max. But in this establishment, we had already run out of cooperation. While Daniel and I would be stacking the tables, the waitresses, Kim, Bread, and Fish, were busy gossiping and talking about things that were rated 18 plus. And honestly, I heard so much dirt from them on people I don't even know. Enough dirt to write a short story. I'm telling you the truth. And because of the amount of time they spent gossiping, the tasks after closing time took way longer to complete. On top of that, Daniel and I had to do more than the rest of them to make up for lost time. We were new and we didn't know better, which brings me to my first lesson. Never do more work than your co-workers, especially if there's no overtime pay, because the reward of hard work is more work. We spoke to the supervisor about the whole situation, and all he had to say was that we should continue working and that there's nothing wrong with hard work, since we were men. And not even 5 minutes later, he went to flirt with Fish. After that night, it was one battle after the other. Now, in retrospect, it seems that even though Daniel and I worked the same job on the same shift and had to deal with the same people, our experiences were quite different. Because while he was getting orders wrong and occasionally getting teased by the manager about being slow, I was busy battling with the staff and customers. For example, one day there was this smoking hot girl that walked into the bar. She was about 5'10", light skin, pretty face, and she was curvier than a Formula 1 racetrack. Every waiter was assigned to serve 2 or 3 tables depending on the amount of customers available. And out of all the tables in the entire bar, which table do you think she sat at? If your guess was Daniel's table, you just got 10 points. And when he brought the menu to her, she smiled and said, "Wow, you're a very fine boy." I know this because I watched it happen. From there, they continued chopping it up, so much so that the other guys in the bar started getting jealous. Some of them even asked him if they were related, because why would a goddess be so attached to a mere waiter? For the sake of the story, let's call her Angel. Now, Angel was a frequent customer, and whenever she came, she would go straight to Daniel's table or just be around him. And of course, even the manager wanted a bite of this fine apple. But before I get into that story, let me take you to the dark side. aka my side of the story. So while Daniel was busy being man of the hour for 4 days in a row, I had a little clash with Fish. It was business as usual, just another day at the bar. I had already taken care of my tables, and it was almost midnight, so customers were already leaving. I was chilling in my usual spot when I heard, "Excuse me, I ordered for barbecued fish, but I still haven't gotten it." I opened my eyes to see a girl with 2 guys at a table looking at me. "Sorry, are you talking to me?" "Yes." "When is my order coming? It's already getting late." "You remember the person that took your order?" "Yes, she was short and light-skinned." "Okay, let me look for her." I went to the kitchen and asked the chef if he had seen her, and he said he hadn't. I checked around the back and still didn't see her. I came back to the girl and told her I didn't see Fish, but she asked me to search again, and so I did. She and her friends even joined me to search. After some minutes, Fish came out of nowhere with the girl's order, and then the worst part of the night came. One of the guys with the girl looked at me straight in the eyes and said, "You said you couldn't find her, but she said she was in the kitchen. You are a liar." As if that wasn't bad enough, when I confronted Fish about the whole situation, she screamed at me and said I was disturbing her. And just like that, we got into a heated argument in the middle of the night. Now back to Daniel. Remember when I said the manager wanted a bite of Angel? But one night when she came around, Daniel was busy serving another table, so I covered her table for him, as a bro that I am. And at this point, we were pretty close because we had something or someone in common, so she was very friendly with me. After taking her order, the manager called me aside and told me to tell her that he would cover the bill. And after I told her, she was like, "I don't need anybody to pay for me. Is the guy even handsome?" Not knowing that he was just around the corner. And when I thought to prepare her order, he told me that he wasn't going to pay for her anymore. There was another time when Angel came to the bar and came to chill with Daniel and me in the pantry. She was there for Daniel, but I was in the area, so I guess that counts for something. And trust me when I tell you that she had her hands all over Daniel. You know that moment when you've been saving to buy a new iPhone for ages, and then you finally get it, so you caress the phone like it's made of gold? That was literally what she was doing to Daniel, and she was very bold about it. She didn't even care who was watching. She just wanted to sink her claws into my guy. Now, unfortunately, this is where I'm going to conclude the video, but stay tuned for part 2, and don't forget to subscribe. And you have to hit the bell icon unless it doesn't count.